G'day guys, welcome back to the farm on Farming Simulator 22, the Start From Scratch series. It's July now, so that means it is the start of the harvest season, and we are going to be very busy today because we have 3 fields that need harvesting. So we start up here at the house and with all of our productions, and it looks like we need to move this pallet of fabric over. And well, we're running pretty low on the cotton now, so that's going to come to an end quite soon. So we're just going to be back to using the sheep's wool, which doesn't produce quite fast enough, but it's been good while it lasted. It did give us a good income having all that cotton. So we'll get this shifted on over, and then we need to get on over to the wheat field. We'll start there and get all that harvested up, and we'll have to do the baling. And then we also have the canola field and our new field of oats, which we'll need to do as well. All of that needs to be done today, so that tomorrow we can turn all these fields around and get the planting that's needed to be done there. So we'll start off by customizing this trailer. We want to put the extension on so that we don't have to do too many runs, and we can drive that tractor into the crop. That's not a problem, but we can't let the trailer go through it because that will destroy it. And we'll drive around to the back of the shed here, and we have our little station where we can customize our machinery. So we'll just quickly do that to the trailer. Looks like a couple of things could do with a repair, but we'll just put the extension on there. It doesn't cost us anything, and we are going to leave that parked up on the edge, and we'll jump into the harvester and we'll start getting this wheat processed. Now, so we'll start with the harvesting. We'll do a little bit. We'll go around the edges and do the bottom across the road there, and then we can get this thing set off on a worker. Unfortunately, the worker can't do any baling for us, so I'll be doing the baling, and I'll be loading up the trailer and using that. Okay, I've done all the hard parts, so we can now let a worker get involved here, and he's got no excuses to have anything go wrong. So what we've got in here can just go straight into feed the chickens, and that'll be that. And it looks like the harvester itself, yeah, they'll take all that feed. Looks like the harvester itself could do with a bit of maintenance. We don't want to let that maintenance bar on the right there go down too far, otherwise that will start affecting the yield. So we want to make sure that this thing's in tip-top shape, so we'll go and spend a little bit of money on that. I don't really want to spend the money because we're kind of keeping the cash to buy our new fields and new tools and everything. So, but of course we do have to spend money to make money. So we make sure that everything's all up to scratch, and we'll get that going off on a worker just after. And then I've made enough swaths that I can start getting on to the baler. So hopefully it's just the machine itself that needs fixing. I'm stuck between the machine and the harvester there. So yeah, we'll have a look. That yeah, the harvester's in a pretty bad condition, and the header, well, we might as well repair it anyway. So we'll get this going off on a worker, and then I'll bring the baler up here and I'll get started on the baling. So there's still heaps to do today. Alright, we're up here with the baler, so we can get started. Do have a little bit of grass in the baler from the silage that we made previously, so that will convert straight into straw. And we do make 180 centimeter straw bales, but the first one will probably be 150, which is going to be all good. That doesn't really matter too much, but I prefer to make the bigger bales. I do want to invest in a square baler eventually because they are much easier to move around with the machine. after they've been processed, but we do like this baler because it can wrap, which is good for us making silage. So there's our first 7,500 litre bale. We'll drop that off there, and everything from now on should be 11,000 litres. So we'll get cracking into this, and we'll let the worker carry on in the combine. And there's a notification to tell us that our combine is nearly 80% full, so we will stop this tractor right here and sprint over to the Massey Ferguson with the trailer, and we need to try and get to the end of the line here before the harvester, otherwise he's going to turn around and we won't be able to empty him out. It's very important that we get there before him because we cannot be driving through the crop. We have to be on the left side of the harvester to unload, otherwise we'll end up destroying the crop, and we don't want to have to do that. There's going to be a lot of me chasing the harvester today, following around with the baler, make sure we get everything done. Oh, there we go, that's pretty much full harvester load there into that trailer. We won't be dropping this into the silo every time, we'll just leave it here, and when it's a full load or the field is finished, then we can go and throw that into our silo. And we'll let the harvester continue, and we will jump back into the baler and continue with that. We're actually going to end up with quite a lot of straw today because we've got straw from the canola field, the wheat field and the oat field. So I'm probably I'll keep what we need, which isn't going to be a lot, but I'll probably sell the majority of the straw, which will just give us a little bit of money going forward. There's no need to keep all of the bales because it's just going to go to waste. So we may as well sell it, and we'll take what money we can get from that. So hopefully we'll get a fair few dollars. Well, we're keeping up pretty well with the combine, with the baling. And we've got quite a few bales done here already, so we may as well just get these loaded up and give the combine a good head start. Otherwise we're just chasing his tail. So we'll do that. And like I said, we're going to have to sell probably quite a few. I'm not sure how many bales we're going to end up with in total. I think we normally get about 10 or 11 bales from this wheat field alone, and in the canola field as well is going to be quite a few bales. That's a pretty big field. And then I think we'll just keep the bales that we get from the oats, which should only, it's a very small field, so it should only be about 5 or 6 bales at the most that we'll get from there, but we've already got quite a few in storage as it is, so we won't need to be stressing for straw when the time comes. And then we'll let that deplete, and next year then we may have to end up keeping a little bit more, but at least we now have another income with the straw. It's not much, but it all helps, a few $1,000s here and there. So yeah, straw's not a big earner, but it's definitely worth keeping or selling if you have enough. Okay, looks like the harvester is finished, so we'll just load up this last bale, and we can take our time loading these bales. There's no rush for that. Then we can crack on and get everyone over onto the canola field. That's the main priority because it's the field that needs to be turned around the quickest, and also it needs to go straight into the oil production. That's our biggest thing right now. That's the priority. The sooner we can get our canola into the oil factory, the sooner we can be producing canola oil, which is going to be worth quite a bit. So we've actually got pretty much a full baler here, a full harvester, sorry. So we'll tip this into our trailer, and all of this field fits into one trailer, so it's obviously not very much, but it's all it is chicken food. So as long as it can feed the chickens for a year, that's all it needs. And I know that from the years that have gone by, that what we have here in this field is more than enough to keep the chickens happy for a year. So we do end up with a small surplus. So over time that does grow, which is good. That's why we could afford for 1 year that we planted. I think we planted something else in this field at some point a few years ago. So we can probably do that again in a couple of years. And we'll just grab this little bit in the corner. I know it's not going to be a lot, but we may as well. There's no point putting it to waste. And then the whole process begins again. We have to go over to the canola field, which is a much larger field than this. I won't bother picking up those little bits of straw there. That's just not really worth it. And we'll tip what we can into this chicken coop, which is barely nothing. And that's fine. So we'll get this over to the canola field. We can get a worker straight away working on that. And then we'll be chasing that with the baler again. Now we don't get as much straw from canola as we do from the cereal crops, but it all helps. It all goes a long way. Those extra 10 bales or so, they are going to give us a little bit of money. Now it looks like we actually need to do some mulching in the olive grove here. We'll have to do that. I'll probably do that off screen in between episodes. And I think things are going well. Once we get this, it would be much better if we had a larger harvester, because it would definitely make things a little bit quicker. But this is the priority field here. This needs to be done and turned around the quickest. So here we go. We've got 18,000 litres of wheat, and we've already got some in the storage as well. So this is obviously going to be far more than enough for a year. And we've got some eggs that need to be moved over. I'll do that at some point. Yeah, so we've got heaps of wheat. Yeah, over probably 30,000 litres now. That's going to be a large help. Just over 30,000. And we've obviously got some barley and some oats. We'll keep stocking up the oats because they're going to be used in the cereal process when we get to that, which is going to be coming fairly soon, probably next year I would say we'll have that going. This year's target is to get that grape process happening. I'm just finishing up the last of the baling here on the wheat field. This will be the last little run. It's not enough to get another bale out of it, unfortunately, but as we're going to continue on with the canola field, picking up the straw that we get from that, it's all going to count for something. So there's just a few more bales that I'll need to pick up here with the telehandler, but the priority is, of course, getting over there and following around the harvester with the baler. We have to stay right on its tail, otherwise it's going to get too far ahead of me, and I can't let a worker do the baling. For this game doesn't let that happen for some reason. I don't know why. It should be able to do that by itself, I feel. Hopefully in FS24 it will. Well, there's our first full combine unloaded into the trailer, so we can continue on with baling, and we're doing fairly well with keeping up with the harvester. Lucky he takes forever to turn around at each end, so we can play catch up quite quickly. And all of the bales that are produced will just drop at the bottom end of this field, even if we have to carry one around with us until we get there. That'll make loading up a lot easier, and they won't go rolling down the hill and end up in the cow barn, so best to keep on top of that. Well, just had a few minutes there to catch up, and I've finished loading up all the bales off the wheat field. That smaller bale that we ended up with, I'm just going to put that straight in towards the cow shed, and then we don't have to worry about having a different sized bale on the trailer. That's going to make things a little bit more difficult trying to load that up if we do. So we'll just put this straight into the shed, and we do have plenty of straw in here, so we don't really need to be worried too much about keeping a great deal. So everything that's on the trailer currently will be sold, and we'll try and fit as much as possible on it from this canola field here. So it's probably going to be another 12 bales or so, I would say, that we'd get out of this. So he's almost, yeah, we can't unload the harvester when he's on the way down, we have to do it on the way up. So we'll just move this tractor out of the way so that we don't interfere with the baler. And like I said earlier, I think we'll just keep all of the bales from the oat field. So we should get maybe 4 or 5 bales from there, which will be more than enough to last us until next season. And we'll carry this bale with us down to the bottom again and unload it down there. And that'll make things quite efficient when we come to use the telehandler. So just really in between now and the finish of the field, I'm just going to be baling, putting the loads into the trailer, and if I get ahead with the baling, then I can jump into the telehandler, start loading those onto the trailer. Hopefully it's not going to be too much of a stack. We still do need to be able to transport the trailer down to the animal dealer. That's where we'll go and sell, and hopefully we'll be looking at bringing in roughly about $6,000 or $7,000 for it. Well, we're keeping up quite well with the baling, and we've got a lot of bales down here now, so we'll just get the telehandler and get all of these loaded up, tidy the place up a little bit. The priority is that we need to get this field turned around and planted. It's the first one that needs planting. I think we plant in August for the canola, so we need to make sure that this is the priority field that gets all the treatment, and then we can focus on the wheat and oat field after that. Well, there's a bit of a stack happening here. That's a lot of bales already, and there's still going to be a few more to get. I don't know if we're actually going to be able to stack that high, but we'll give it a damn good go. It looks like our harvester is full and ready to be emptied, so we'll have to jump into the Massey, and we'll go on down there and get that emptied, and then we'll cart that up. That's going to fill this trailer by the looks of things. Probably actually going to have some still in the harvester, so hopefully we can get to the oil mill and back before he's full again. But he's almost done the job for us, which is good. And there's just a few more runs. It's probably going to be another 6 bales or something that need picking up off this field, and then we're going to be into the oat field, so there's still a fair bit to do. And we're going to sell the bales today, see where we get. Hopefully we'll get a decent enough amount of cash. So he's going to be more than enough to fill the trailer, and hopefully he'll just continue, and we'll have to quickly, as fast as we can anyway, drive this over to the oil mill, and we'll get unloaded and make sure this starts getting processed ASAP, and we'll come back and empty him out again, and we'll just continue the motion. Okay, here we are, 22,000 litres of canola coming in for the mill. We do still have the olive oil there from the previous harvests, nowhere near enough to sell anything yet. So we are in the hole with that, unfortunately, but we'll get there one day. So we'll deactivate the sunflowers and activate the canola. Olive oil, yeah, we still have little bits in the storage, but not enough to make a full pallet. So we're all emptied out, and we've got to boost back on over so we can get that harvester emptied out again. And we'll continue on. Hopefully he hasn't come to a stop before we get there. That's the main priority, is to keep him moving. I'm going to take over on the harvesting for a little bit. I'll save ourselves a couple of dollars. We can always come back and do this baling ourselves, but I can just quickly finish this last 2 or 3 runs with the harvester. Should just be an up and down, and that'll be job done, and we can get onto that oat field. Well, that's that finished up. Tip the last of this canola straight into the trailer, and then we can go and empty that out once we get the oat field sorted out. So you can see the wages are very expensive, $777 for an hour. So it's worth saving money if we can. It looks like we've got a lot of money right now, but that money disappears very quickly, especially when you're thinking about buying new tractors or new fields. So there we go, fully completed with the canola field. So we'll have to get that over to the oil mill and we can continue on, but we need to get over to that oat field. We want to get that processed as quickly as we can. There's still heaps to do, and you can see here that the grass is also ready to harvest. So we're going to have to make some hay, I think, probably in the next episode. Yeah. Here we are at the oat field. I'll probably harvest this myself because it's just a nice small field. Shouldn't take too long, probably about 10 runs up and down or something. But we've got the trailer over here that's emptied and ready to be filled with the oats. We'll just continue on, and we'll get a lot more straw out of this field than we will from the canola. Maybe not as more bales, but we'll definitely get a lot more straw per square meter, I could say, something like that, I suppose. Well, we're just coming down here. We've done about half of the field and we are almost 3/4 full, so we'll just make sure that we put that on a worker, and by the time they turn around then we can empty out, and then we'll dry this ourselves. We'll carry on with the harvesting after we've emptied the combine. But we're making good progress today. It's been a busy day, harvesting 3 fields. Still, it's early in the morning, but slowed down the time just a little bit because I didn't want to be doing any harvesting in the dark. Best to do it when there's plenty of daylight. So you can empty out into the trailer and we'll carry on. Still plenty to do, I suppose, and then we need to get all of these fields cultivated and turned around because we've got a busy couple of months coming up with the other harvests. Wow, just coming to the end of it now. That's the last of all of the harvesting for today, so it's good to get that job done. And all of the oats that we have here are just going to go straight to the silo. they'll be put towards a production, probably the cereal production, when we get around to that. I wasn't expecting a full trailer, and the damn thing looks like it's almost empty, but it's all good stuff. We've had a couple of harvests of oats out of this field already, so it's just good to keep that stockpile building up, and it's just going to boost the cereal factory when it does come to it. We will have to plant a larger field of oats just so that we can make sure the cereal factory actually produces very well. So we'll just park the harvester up here and we'll get this transported over to the silo. And we've got the baler over here already, so that'll be the next thing after transportation. And then we still got some other stuff that we can do today. There's going to have to be all the baling and sell those. Well, it's only 7,000 litres, but it's good to have that stock ready and waiting for when the time does come. So it's not heaps, but it's enough. Just, 2 or 3 harvests to get that field up and running. And we've got over 20,000 in storage, so that's not a bad start. When we do get that cereal factory, we know that it's going to be able to produce, hopefully for the first year or so. Well, here we are, we're down at the farmer's market, the animal store, so we'll be selling all of this 242,000 litres of straw. Sounds like it's going to give us a lot of money, but straw is worthless almost. It's not really worth a great deal of money, but it's all income at the end of the day, isn't it? So let's just see how much are we going to get for all of this. So we'll just unfasten all the straps and they should disappear just like that. And the money is going up. Yeah, so 8,000, not too bad. I was thinking we might get a little bit less than that, but anything upwards of 5 or 6 was always going to be good. But we got a furniture to sell today as well. Well, I actually almost forgot about the old furniture over here to sell, so lucky I checked the in-game menu to find out when that was due. But we're at that time of year and we've got quite a bit of furniture here actually to sell, so we're actually going to be ending up pretty close to 400,000, I would say, by the end of this episode. I need to line that up a little bit better. So we'll get this all loaded up, we'll get it on over to the store, and hopefully we're going to be seeing a good bank balance afterwards. Well, we actually had a lot more in here than I thought we were going to have. Got 13 pallets all up, and I can't remember how much they're worth, but it's certainly a couple of thousand per pallet, so it's going to be about 26,000 or so, maybe a little bit more. But that's not a bad thing to have. It's a good production, the furniture. You don't really have to do much. Just do a little bit of logging now and then, and that just keeps going, doesn't it? So it's perfect. So let's just check the price. Furniture there, 2,000, over 2,000. Yeah, now's the best time to be selling, so we'll get this on over to the store. Alright, here we are. Let's get this into the drop zone and see what we're going to get for that. I do like selling big products like this. The bank balance just rockets right up. And 392,000. Yeah, so 29,000, a little bit more than I was expecting out of that. That's perfect. So we've got baling left to do. And what else can we do? That's probably work-wise finished for the episode. I'll do a little bit off camera, finish up all the baling and the like. So let's just jump in, make sure the cows are all good. They could do with a feed, but I won't bother doing that right now. I'll do that soon. I'm going to continue playing on. I'll get this grass mowed and tedded, we'll turn that into hay. New field wise, pretty keen on this expensive one here, 31. We can just about afford it. It's a big field of sugar beet, which we are going to want at some point. Or we're going to have this field here, which is a lot cheaper. So also about half the size. So really it comes down to what we need. I think if we're going to go cereal, we're going to want that cornfield. But there is also the fact that we will want the sugar beet field at some point. So we've got a busy few months coming up around September, October. Again, that's more, so sugar beet, everything else, corn. So we're actually going to have sunflowers and corn or sugar beet all in the same month. And that stuff takes a long time to harvest, so we'll be very busy around then. And we have the grapes and the olives, which is also around the same time. So there's going to be plenty coming up. So I'm thinking probably going to maybe take that cornfield, just because that's, if we want cereal factory, we're going to need corn. These fields down here, I'm thinking. So if you start the game on the easy mode, this is the area that you start. You actually get a yard, but we could probably buy 2 or 3 fields down here and plow all of this up and just link this and make one big field. So I think that could be a good thing to aim for. So yeah, there's a lot of options, and obviously we've got a good amount of money right now. I'm not really too keen on a cotton field at the moment, but 2 of those have sugar beet, which wouldn't be a bad idea. That's also an option here. Well, there's so many options, I really don't know what to go for. We do want to buy a field that has a crop in it, either way, so that we can actually make money out of it. We don't want to spread ourselves too thin across the map either. We kind of want to keep it dense. So I'm going to carry on playing. I'll get this grass mowed and tedded and probably windrowed. I'll get those bales picked up and I'll put those into our cow shed. I'll feed the cows and I'll just carry on, and I'll get ourselves prepared for the next season of harvest. So join me next time, where we'll probably be purchasing new fields. So I hope you enjoyed that episode. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.